Howdy gaming people, Damon Master here with another episode of Unboxing My Collection. Thank you very much to everyone that supplied me with feedback on my last video, and it's really given me some ideas and stimulated me into sort of thinking about how I can present these videos to you a little bit better. Today we're taking a look at The Prophecy. This has obviously seen a little bit of shelfware. I probably should get a baggie for this one. Also known as Ween, The Prophecy in other parts of the world. This is a click and point adventure game from Cocktail Vision, which is or was a part of the Sierra online family and published in 1993. To give you an idea, the game is essentially like the old classic text adventures where you would go from room to room solving puzzles, but instead of typing the commands in The Prophecy, it's primarily mouse driven. You play Ween, who's a young sort of upcoming, well, the book kind of says wizard, but I mean, I don't think he ever really casts any spells directly. He uses items. Who's assisted by a number of interesting sort of companions, and you need to place 3 grains of sand inside of the like an hourglass before time runs out. You've got 3 days to do that, and you need to save the princess, yada yada yada. It's a little cliche, but you know. I purchased this myself, probably, I think it was around 95, from a computer game store not far from me. And I know what I was like back then. I probably would have been on a limited budget. Probably couldn't have afforded any of the sort of the genuine Sierra big sort of titles like, say, the latest King's Quest. Probably saw this at a cheaper price, saw the Sierra name on it and went, yeah. And being that I was always a big fan of fantasy and Dungeons and Dragons and whatever have you, so yeah, I would have grabbed this one pretty much straight away. So, it's a nice big box. Plenty of good looking screenshots on the back there. And yeah, let's just go ahead and jump right in. So, according to my box, MS-DOS 3.5-inch VGA requires a 286 10MHz or better, 640K RAM, VGA hard disk mouse, supports Thunderboard Pro Audio Spectrum, Sound Blaster, and AdLib. Thunderboard. Let's see, assuming it's at about 95, I would have been running a 286 at 16 megahertz. I probably would have had a couple of megabytes of RAM, and I would have had a sound card by then too. So this sort of game for me was still exciting in that it was 256 color VGA, and would have had and does have like full sort of AdLib sound. And that was, I know AdLib had been around for quite a while, but I didn't get a sound card until sort of probably early to mid 90s. So anything that had really good AdLib sound, I was just super keen for. So, but anyway, let's crack open the box and have a look at what's inside. So it's a simple slipcase, a plain white box. Alright, so inside we have what appears to be my original receipt. Neat. Computers click here, proprietary limited. Well, I guess the first question is, are they still around? At 861 Princess Highway. Right, I'm going to do some homework, so by the time you're watching this, hopefully I'll have something on the screen here that's where I've looked into these guys. I doubt they're still there. I do remember the location though, because right next door to the computer store was an arcade parlor. Big one too, and friends of mine and I would always hang out there playing Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat and whatever have you. But it looks like I bought on the 29th of the 4th, so the 29th of April, 1995 at 1:49 PM, a packet of 1.4 megabyte floppy diskettes for $6.95, and The Prophecy for $24.95. Cool, so $25 back in the 90s. It's amazing, you know, like, so few games I'll pay $25 for these days, like I'm real cheap. So it comes on what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 floppy disks, 3.5 inch high density, and we've got the original manual, which is quite nice. Let's have a quick look through this, shall we? Just a Gaelic artwork, credits for both Cocktail Vision and Sierra Online. And here we have the backstory sort of in written format. You have only 3 days. We can see our NPCs. So there was obviously a lot of motion capture for this title, and what's kind of odd was, first of all, obviously there was an actor to play Ween, who you only see for a split second in the introduction, and then pretty much is never seen again. Secondly, I know online, and also I'm pretty sure in this but this manual, there's mention of a CD-ROM version, but it doesn't appear to have ever happened. And I get the feeling they must have recorded a lot more footage, and then it just never got used, which is kind of sad, because I really like the Prophecy, and it would have been really cool to see a longer CD-ROM version. Game screen, yep. Working with windows, cursors, picking up objects. There's the princess. Oh boy. Installation. And then we've got some starting tips. Right, technical help. How to create a boot disk. You just don't see that anymore, do you? Yeah, I downloaded Black Ops 4, but I had to create a boot disk. For MS-DOS 5 and below, mouse drivers. Jeez, aren't you glad you guys don't have to worry about this stuff anymore? And yeah, it is illegal to make unauthorized copies of the software. Don't do it, kids. What else we got in the box? Let's see. A flyer for technical support from Sierra. This is for, looks like, yeah, so how to sort of return this card, get a year subscription to Interaction. Right. Doesn't look like obviously set that off. And having trouble fulfilling the prophecy, get some help on your quest, the Prophecy Hint Book. Ooh, I would have liked that. That's probably a collector's thing by now. Who's got the Prophecy Quest hint book? That'd be handy. Alright, so unfortunately, other than the receipt, which is neat, nothing to sort of really say, hey, this was the Australian release, because all those warranty cards are for international. But yeah, look, I had a lot of fun. I remember playing the Prophecy quite a bit, several times, and having a lot of fun with it. And yeah, they just don't make games like this anymore. But that's my copy of the Prophecy. It sits proudly on my shelf, very worn. One of the more enjoyable sort of mouse point and click adventure games that I have. I really dig the soundtrack, and at the time the visuals were pretty cool. The game's not too long, it doesn't overstay its welcome, and it doesn't ever get super hard. It's the sort of game that if you bought it and installed it, you know, it might take you a day or a weekend to finish, and that's probably just about right as far as I'm concerned for these sorts of titles. So yeah, if you see it out and about, by all means pick it up. I'm pretty sure you can find it online, maybe. Again, I'll do some homework, and if there's any way of picking it up on GOG or other services, I'll make sure I put it into the links below. But thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed The Prophecy.